Hey, everybody, welcome to the most important time of the off season, and that is the Blue Abroad draft preview. I've got Pom back as we always do, our resident draft expert. Mate, this is literally I don't like off season, as you know. This is my favorite video to record in the off season. Good to have you back, mate.
Oh, this is my favourite as well. This is like a year of work in one. And as the years have gone on doing this with you, Carlton have put less and less priority in the draft. So it's getting a bit more fun because we don't have pick one.
Well, that's right. Yeah. I mean, you and I have spoken about this on the show a few times about what this draft is and how it's compromised somewhat and how it's different and how players who were maybe highly ranked last year or the year before have now projected in a different way because of the reality that they haven't been able to play as much, train as much, and just generally been impacted. But just for those who are new to you, which if you don't know who the Pom is by now, I don't know. I don't know where you've been. But what are you doing all year round to prepare for such things?
Well, I mean, I'm lying, begging, and cheating to try and get footage if the games aren't available. I'm scouring data. I'm reading reports. I have a little spreadsheet in front of me as well, which correlates everyone's predicted draft position, and I update it every month. And then I create a core average. It's literally like this is my life for 365 days, and I'll have after they take their selection. Usually, I have about 8 weeks off, and then we're starting. Like already, I've got a spreadsheet for 2022, so we've already
Mm,
got top 50 names that I'm looking out for, and it's a guesswork. So at the start of the year, I was quite lucky because I earmarked wing slash forward, and Nick Austin has done me a real solid and said that's what we're targeting with pick 25. So he's helped the pub out. So thanks, Nick.
mm. Well, let's just recap a little bit about what's going on. So, in this video, we're talking about pick 25. We're going to look through, I guess, three categories, and they are those who may slide, those who are generally around about projected to be around the pick 25, and then there's those who might be a little available a little later, but not before our next pick that we might want to jump at the opportunity to draft. And then there's that, and then there's also what you just said, where Nick Austin made it pretty clear what we're looking for, right?
Yeah, he pretty much earmarked it, which I think everyone would agree. I know that when we did this our preview, we talked a lot about Rhett Bazzo, who doesn't feature in this video, a bit of a spoiler, but that would have said that Lewis Young, that Young is the guy that's going to be the Rhett Bazzo position. They've got the backup, and next year is full of key position players. So it was interesting that Nick Austin alluded that next year is where they're going to target the draft because
Mm.
there is a hell of a lot at the moment. If you look at the top 50, about the 20 of them are key position players. So it looks like Carlton are looking at dotting the small I's now. You'd say outside help and a goal kicking small forward is probably what Carlton do need today. So it's interesting.
Mm. And also, I mean, I guess they would assume that 2022 is going to be a year where there's going to be less compromising done because we would bloody hope that everyone can play footy and be back to normal. And, most people are vaccinated now and whatnot. So I would assume that 2022 was a little bit more normal than what 2021 was.
Oh, yeah. And it's weird because people have been saying that this is a compromised draft with Victorians not playing. But if you take everyone's top 30 power rankings, most of them are Victorians, which is funny in itself. So it shows you the strength that we've got. Obviously, this is the football mecca, Victoria, but there will be a few, I think, particularly late on. And I agreed with Nick Austin where he said he believes there's a blanket over the next best players after the top 10. He's spot on because a lot of these guys, we saw it a couple of years ago with the Kemp draft, particularly. He was top 3 at the start of the year, then got injured. Other people usurped him. It's kind of a similar situation here this year where no one's seen these players. So they haven't had that year where some come from nowhere. So there's a lot of bargains to be had.
Okay. All right. I'm excited. Let's begin. Take it away. I might just interrupt you to ask you some dumb questions because this is not my forte. So please don't mind me.
There's no such thing as a stupid question, just a stupid answer, as they always say. So here we go. We've got the first guy, slider, Mr. Campbell, Cheshire. Now, always a good little starting point, this, because this guy here is what we're talking about when we're talking about where do these people go. Because if we take ESPN's draft, they've got him as 36th best talent, but he is as low as 18th in some people's draft. I've got him about 23, but he suits the bill for what Carlton are looking for. Halfback who plays on the wing, Victorian kid, comes from a really established setup at Sandy Dragons. We know that they create real good footballers. He's classy on the outside. He finds the ball really well as well. Real breaking line speed. And he's shown his versatility because he's equally good down back as he is on the wing. And what is really important for Carlton, and this is something that people say we struggle with, he's an elite kick. He would consider himself top 10 in the draft this year as his ability to hit targets. He's a real good footballer. And with the rumours that Doc may not play this year, he may be a guy that Carlton look at and think, we probably don't have that difference down the back and on the wing. And there was a lot of talk that Doc was earmarked for the wing this year because of his ball use. So here's a guy that would slot straight in very early doors.
Okay. I like it. I like the sound of him.
Yeah, he's a very skillful player. This year as well, he hasn't played that much football, but 18.3 touches, playing about 80% on the wing, which is what you're looking for in a wingman. So he really does show that. And he's also not shy of the goals as well. He does do pretty well running inside 50. He's got a long kick on him. So he's something that Carlton would look at, I think, if he's there.
Okay. Yep. I like it.
Well, the next slider we've got is, and this guy is probably another guy that's been done by the No Victorians. So as high as 8th, as low as 35 on the draft board. So you can see the correlation. This is, for someone who watches the draft a lot, I've never seen this discrepancy as much as I have this year, because people just don't know what Victorians are going to do.
Right.
Some people will be put off. He's a mid-forward, a lot of time as well on the outside of midfield, but can go inside. I would say a really good comparison of this kid is Trent Cotchin, someone of that ilk. He can go on the outside, he can go on the inside, he keeps the chains moving, real good goal craft as well. He's highly composed, and his IQ for such a young age is really exceptional. He uses the ball well, he sees the game coming. He is a solid prospect, and if there was Victorian football, I'd guarantee this guy would be a top 10 player.
Right. Had they been playing all year, you think he'd be right in that mix?
Yeah, because this guy, his rise from under 16s to now has been really leaps and bounds every year. So I would have hazarded a guess that if this guy had played more than the minimal games that he's played this year, he would have been high up on people's things, because he got all the talent you look for in that type of footballer. That he's got the goal kick in, he's got decent tackle pressure, but he's got exceptionally clean hands in trouble, and he's got the engine to work on the outside. So if he slides, I would say this guy is a lock to Carlton.
If he's available at pick 25, you nab him up while he's there.
Oh, 100%, yeah, because this guy is a top 10 footballer, and it's interesting, like I say, the flux of this guy from the experts is huge. I think he will go around pick 15, 16. But if he does slide, and it's all about what the Victorian clubs do and what the interstate clubs do. If the interstate clubs go, you know what, we're sticking at home, we know about this guy, there may be a chance, an outside chance. But if he's there, you take him.
I like it. That sounds very promising. Tyler Sonsie.
Great name. Great name as well. He's got a name, hasn't he, that you can hear the commentators saying. Chant
Absolutely.
name.
Yeah.
And this guy's had a lot of talk. A lot of people are talking about Matty Roberts. And there's a reason why. This kid is something else. He's a hard at it footballer, but he's got the class to play across half forward as well. He's been phenomenal as well this year for the South Adelaide and for South Australia. He's a real good live wire. He's a big body, 183, 81 kgs. He's played with men, and he plays big, but he's got real sleight of feet. He's real agile. He's got the accumulation ability. He's averaging over 30 touches in football, pressure machine as well. He's a strong tackler. He knows where the goals are, and he's got a huge ceiling. You can see it. These are the type of players that when you pick them up, if you look after them, they fly. And this is another guy that is interesting. He's one of the few interstate players that's got a flux because of that. He's seventh, and some people have got him in the 40s, which is mental. But this guy is...
Yeah. I was going to say, I like... there's something about this one that I like. And then it sort of got me thinking too. So he's played footy for the majority of 2021.
Yeah, he's played a lot of football as well compared to the others. So South Australia, they haven't really been affected by the COVID as much as the rest of us. But he's got all them green ticks that you'd look for as a recruiter. He's handled it with men. He's got a very good footballing brain. He uses it well. And you can't teach accumulation. It's a weird thing. It sounds so simple. Like people talk about Tom Mitchell, he finds the ball, big wow. Not many people find the ball, though. It's an uncanny ability, and it's called good positional sense. And this kid's got it.
Wow. I don't know. There's just something about his name and his story as well. It's also very interesting that he would slide in some drafts because he's played all year. And I'm thinking at the end of the day, those who play consistent footy in 2021, you would assume they just have an advantage over those that don't, especially in at this part of their, early part of their careers.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there'd be a great argument for Adelaide to take him their first pick. There'd be a great argument. So it's one of them that if you're a Victorian club, you're always going to have the advantage that you know everything about your Victorians from probably the age of 13. They've earmarked them. Now, it's also a case that do the South Australians back themselves to take Victorians in order, or do they stay at home? So Adelaide could be in that situation where they're like, you know what, Finn Callahan may be there, players of that ilk. Or do we take the kid that we know is playing in Sandford, which is a historical tough league, and he's done it, and he would fit the bill. But if he slides to Carlton, you grab him all day long as well.